With the recent addition of Arbitrations to Warframe, an ever-present question is asked. How long will it last? Is it really a revolving door of content, or is it just another fad? Another entry in a growing list of features that lose their appeal after a while. Today I want to talk about the life cycle of these types of game modes in Warframe and the problems that hurt them. I'm Deuce, and thanks in advance for watching. Let me begin by saying that I like Arbitrations. I believe its concept is solid. The fact that it doesn't grant any revives is good, since it forces you to approach the mission with a no-nonsense mindset. Zero tolerance for mistakes and no brainless farming. You need to play and pay attention. The drones are also another thing that I like, since they act as a way to spice up your playthrough without taking away anything, a la nullifiers. They don't let you settle in a repetitive strategy that may quickly devolve into brainless spamming. Again, the mode's primary objective is to make you earn something, not just get it because you were there. Now that doesn't mean Arbitrations are perfect. Far from it. The unequal time investment that the different mission types pose is something that needs addressing. It's ridiculous that you need to wait 10 minutes in survival or 10 waves in defense for a rotation reward, when in interception or excavation you can achieve the same results in almost half that time. But I'm sure these will get fixed somehow. Let's hope that fix is not to extend the time lapse for rewards in interceptions and excavations, but to shorten said period for defenses and survivals. Barring these issues, I believe Arbitrations can be a means to achieving a true revolving door of content in the game. Note that I said believe and can be, not know and are. For all their potential, Arbitrations falter in the most important aspect of a video game that is mostly about farming and collecting stuff: the rewards. When it comes to the longevity of the game's newly implemented features, we find ourselves at a bit of a precipice. You see, it doesn't matter how much content gets added, we will always eat it at a faster rate than that in which the devs can cook it. So from that perspective, it's virtually impossible to have new content all the time. But that doesn't mean we can't keep things fresh, and the game has examples of that already implemented. Alerts, sorties, invasions, fissures, and to a certain extent syndicate missions are examples of evergreen systems that never lose their appeal, not completely. Alerts are the primary way to get your hands on catalysts and reactors. Even though as a veteran you don't play them all the time, you do it at a reasonable rate. Same goes for invasions. Sorties are also the primary way to get something, this time ribbons. On the other hand, fissure missions will always be important. Every 3 months they become the only means to acquire the newly primed items, barring their direct purchase. And in the case of syndicate missions, they piggyback into the syndicate rewards, which are amongst the very few that receive reasonably frequent updates and new inclusions. And yes, Captura scenes are not appealing to everyone, but they are new rewards after all. This illustrates the problem with the two most recent iterations of endgame-like systems, the Sanctuary and Arbitrations. The problem lies not in the challenge or in their structure, but in the nature of their rewards. Elite Sanctuary Onslaught's main issue is the fact that after you're done farming for the Braddon Latto Vandal, that's it. You don't have any other incentive to go back in. Yes, it is a good place to farm focus and level up weapons, but Eidolon hunting is simply a much more efficient focus farm, and without new weapons to level up, you know. Same goes for Arbitrations. Once you're done with the cosmetics and mods, that's it, because not everyone farms Endo every single day. On its first weekend, I got to farm roughly around 50,000 Endo in Arbitrations. Add a month of that and you will have enough for a lifetime of modding. In the end, the problem here is the finite nature of the rewards. Like I said earlier, it is impossible to add content as quickly as we go through it. But still, if said content is added at a reasonable rate, then it may prevent these game modes from going completely obsolete, when they were designed for the opposite. And when it comes to discerning what content would make those game modes appealing in the long run, the answer is simple: new weapons for ESO and new cosmetics and decorations for Arbitrations. You might say, well, if it were that easy to add new weapons, I'm sure DE would have already done that. This game features an insane amount of these, so introducing new ones that feel unique and not another bullet skin is very hard. And yes, you're right, but ESO's weapons are not unique. They are improved versions of pre-existing weapons. So in that case, the solution could be to add even more of these improved variants. But which? Well, we have Vandal, Prisma, Wraith and Primed weapons. They comprise most of the factions, all but one, the Infested, for there is no special or improved variant for infested weapons. Wraiths are Grenier, Vandals are Corpus, Primed are Tenno, and Prisma has a little bit of everything but Infested. So my solution here is simple. Create a new improved variant, the Infested. Let's call it Apex. Then you can have Apex variants for infested weapons, like the Mutalis Quanta or the Embolist, just to mention a couple. Then make ESO the only place in which you can get them, and to avoid drop table pollution, rotate set rewards periodically. At first, there will be a period in which you are constantly, and by that I mean every month or so, adding new Apex variants. But as their numbers increase, you can space out those inclusions even more. Or even better, create a dual system in which you make some weapons directly available through the drop tables and others through a special Samaris kiosk with a new currency. This special way to get things is also not new. It's actually one of the features of Arbitrations that I really like. The hybrid system in which you get things through gameplay but using two different acquisition modes. In this case, drop tables and tokens. And the solution to these game modes' finite nature is the same as with ESO. Add new cosmetics, things like immortal skins or altered version of already existing decorations. When it comes to fashion frame and IKEA frame, the sky is the limit. In both of these cases, we're working off the premise of already existing things. I don't know how hard it is to reskin a weapon and give it improved stats, since I'm not a game developer, but I believe it's less difficult than to come up with new visual and gameplay concepts. Apex weapons can have a standardized aesthetic like the other variants, and Arbitration cosmetics follow the same premise. Yes, this will ultimately lead to a finite result, but by the time that happens, we could hopefully have another bones to chew. Warframe is a game that is constantly adding new things. So using pre-existing structures as a way to entertain players in the meantime is a viable solution. Not perfect, but in the face of practicality, I believe it to be the most feasible and realistic. For my part, this has been all for today. If you enjoyed the video or you found it interesting, please consider giving it a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more Warframe content and follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with everything. Again, thank you very much for watching. Wherever you are, have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.